Hello and welcome back to the second Waifu Sticks video. It has been some time since we've had something to work with and something to record, information that I may have that others have not yet gotten to. I don't just make videos for fun. Today we have the new Mayflash Magicboots S5. What is different from this compared to the Magicboots 1.1? It operates as both a DualShock 4 and a DualSense 5. Sorry, I'm not really holding that in the middle for you. Is that useful? It is useful. Is it competitive? That I'm not sure. The button on the bottom or the top, depending on your perspective, changes it between DualShock and DualSense 5. The joy of this is it allows you to play all PlayStation 4 and all PlayStation 5 games. That is useful. Not all arcade sticks work on all games. Compared to, say, the accessory style pass-through, the Magicboots 1.1, which we know very well and love very much, will only work on PS4 games and then PS5 games where they allow accessories. One of the problems we may see with the S5 is if there are DualSense driver updates and if we can or cannot update the S5. I don't think that problem has come through yet. I do not know if Mayflash are currently equipped to deal with it. So, why the video and why today? I put out a tweet maybe 3-4 weeks ago when I first received the S5. It was a bit cryptic. It just said that there is a new dongle coming. It showed PS4 and PS5 modes. I confirmed it worked, but I couldn't really talk too much about it. As you can see, mine is unbranded. If Mayflash chose to do that deliberately, I'm unsure. But they gave me an unbranded one, and I thought I would respect their wishes to not have it announced. The announcement of the S5 has been what I would call unusual. It is not my place to comment. I don't work in marketing, and I certainly don't work for Mayflash. They put a post on Reddit 2 weeks ago advising it was out. It is on their Amazon American store with 0 reviews. It is on their Amazon European store with 0 reviews, and also their Amazon Canadian store with 0 reviews. Mayflash have 2 Twitter accounts, one of which advertises their FGC team, and the Magicboots 1.1 is very well known in the FGC. So it surprises me that Mayflash have not put out a tweet about it. I would have made this video 2 weeks ago had I have known they announced the product. So maybe you don't even know it exists. So let's answer some questions that I have had which I did not feel like I could appropriately answer prior. And firstly, let's go through my relationship with Mayflash. This has been provided to me for testing purposes from a client-supplier relationship. They never asked me to make a video. They never asked me to do any kind of review. And they did not place me under NDA either. I am making this video purely out of interest. So the first question that came up was, will this work with GP 2040? And there is 2 answers. In the DualShock 4 mode, yes it will. it will allow you to operate the PS4 mode on your GP2040 boards. In PS5 mode, the answer is no. It will not work like a PS5 arcade stick style authenticator. It will work on the Mayflash stick units. Funnily, not the F300 Elite, which I have. I had to borrow a friend's F500 V2 to do the testing, which I accidentally referred to as a F700 Elite at some point later in the video, so forgive my mistake. It is a F500 V2. Is it worth it? Should you buy this? My opinion is, if you have a Mayflash stick that it works with, I think it's cheap enough to buy to play those games you could not otherwise. I think that's fair. If you already exist within the Mayflash ecosystem, fair enough. I recommend buying one to play some of those 2D side-scrollers that the developers did not let arcade sticks work on. That's more than fair. Should you buy one from a competitive perspective? We will answer that in a bit. We ran a quick test. We linked Light Punch up to both a GP2040 board and a Mayflash F500 V2, so not my one here. And we counted wins, trades, losses between the Magicboots v1.1 on both, and also the 1.1 on GP2040 versus the S5 in a F500 V2. Did the tests in the reverse order, to be honest. I was going to do Magicboots first, but I ended up going with the new product because that's what I wanted to see. And the results are fickle. I'm going to hold that up for you a little bit. So in the second column, as you can see, I intended to do this second. I did it first, however. The GP2040 won 26 times out of 50. That's a 50% win rate. 24 trades. So 24 times it was even, 26 times GP2040 won up front. That is not a particularly good competitive result, which is why my recommendation for buying one was, do you have a Mayflash controller? Do you want it to work on games where it cannot otherwise? Fantastic. Buy one. Play those games. Enjoy those games. There's nothing wrong with that. But from a competitive perspective, the Magicboots v1.1 on both controllers, whether it be Mayflash or GP2040, actually had great results. 3 wins to GP2040 out of 50, I think, is actually quite small. It is close enough that I would say the Mayflash is very good value for money. People will regularly talk about Mayflash being a cheap controller range, and that's true. It's very affordable. But people don't talk about its performance being nearly on par with some of the best in the business. That more or less concludes my quick findings of the S5. I hope Mayflash can address some of the problems. Problems is maybe the wrong choice of words. I hope Mayflash can address some of the shortcomings, some of the latency increases of the S5, and bring those results back a little, because it is useful. There's no two ways about it. For the tests, which you will see soon, You will also know that I did turn off Bluetooth on the PlayStation 5, so please do not bring that up. Thank you for watching. If you have what you were looking for, you may end the video now. If you are interested in the process, continue to watch, but I don't necessarily recommend it. Thank you. Here begins the portion of the video where I test the two layouts we want to test. We record the data, and I have already talked about it. You do not need to watch this part of the video. This is purely for evidence sake and a little bit of my ongoing commentary as I see what happens. As you can see here, it is identifying as a DualSense wireless controller. The A0520 chip is what the DualSense registers as in the PlayStation 5. So I wanted you to see that very clearly. See this in the white mode. That's what the, what's it called? Magicboots S5 implies that it's in PS5 mode. Above, you can already see I have Bluetooth accessories off, so that is not an excuse for any data going forward. Hooked up to player 2 is a GP2040 with a Mayflash Magicboots 1.1, what we know and love and have used for a long time. I will be testing it against a Mayflash Magicboots first. We will get a benchmark of how the S5 performs, and then we will put the second Magicboots 1.1 into the Mayflash and see if we achieve different results. We need to first get a benchmark before we run a comparison to see if there's any changes. So the test is simple. We press one button at the same time. We record wins, trades, and losses. Player 1 is the Mayflash. Player 2, the square button, is duplicated to the GP2040. We will do a beginning of 50 inputs. If I see too much variance, we will run another 50. But if it's one-sided, then I think 50 is adequate, and we do not need to run a second test. Let's begin. One for GP2040. Seven trades, 3 losses for the S5 thus far. It's not a very good look. That was 7-3 to GP2040. That looks even worse. Five. So that was 4 to 6, closer to the first 10. But very one-sided, not looking exceptional, to be honest. Well, that's the first 50, and I'm going to be pretty honest. I don't see a point of running another 50. It's very one-sided to GP2040 at this stage. Reference the S5 in PS5 mode. I now just quickly end the recording and boot it up again, and that will have it with the Magicboots 1.1 inside the Mayflash. Okay, recording 2. We now have the Magicboots S5 out and the Mayflash Magicboots 1.1 in. The blue LED indicates we are on a PS4 mode instead of a PS5 mode. And I assure you, I do not have a DualShock 4 authenticator in there. This is the Magicboots 1.1 accessory. Let's begin. That was 9 trades, 1 GP2040. That is a considerably better look. Again, 9 to 1. Ten trades. Now I have to be honest. I'm not sure if I did a 50 or 51, but let's just give Mayflash benefit of the doubt. 347.0. So the data at current: Magicboots versus Magicboots. The GP2040 on 3 wins, 47 trades, 0 Mayflash 700 Elite wins. That's very even. Extremely even. 3 wins to GP2040, credit where credit's due. That is better. But it's not so much of a discrepancy that I would advise against the Mayflash 700 being usable. The S5 in PS5 mode, however, 26 wins to GP2040, 24 trades, and 0 Mayflash wins. That is extremely different. And I think from a competitive point of view, that is concerning.